Hello, you are very welcome to the European Business Summit 2020 coming to you online this year, and in particular this session where we're going to be discussing Catalonia's place in the world as a tech hub and why investment there is a good idea. We'll be finding out all about that from our three excellent speakers. We have Joan Romero, CEO of Catalonia Trade and Investment, Marc Gomez, CEO and President at ABB Spain, and in a slight change to our lineup, from Roche, we have Joseph Basser, who's Director of Site Roche at Sant Cugat. Gentlemen, thank you all very much for joining us. I'm also going to ask the audience to get involved. One of the benefits of being online this year, although it was not always planned, is that you will be able to send in your questions via social media. Use the hashtag EBS 2020 Catalonia. So I'll try and keep an eye on what's being discussed out there in the social media world and put your questions to our speakers. With that, I'm going to hand over the floor. We have only an hour, so we're going to try and whistle through this and get as many questions answered as possible. So I'm going to hand over to Joan Romero. Please give us your opening thoughts.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. And let me thank you, everyone attending, for your interest in this event. I'm sure that we will generate a fruitful exchange of opinions. I would also like to thank the organizers of the European Business Summit for inviting me to talk to you about Catalonia and its role as international tech hub. I must also give a special thanks to the moderator, Ms. Jennifer Baker, and to the panelists who are joining us today from leading international companies that have presence in Catalonia. On one hand, we will have Marc Gomez, the CEO and President of ABB in Spain, and also Mr. Josep Bassa, Site Manager of Roche Diagnostics in Sant Cugat. Some say that an image is worth a thousand words. So before we start, let me share with you a short video of Catalonia.
I imagined a style of architecture that, imitating nature, had no straight lines, where one could create a huge building with 1,000 tiny fragments, where inspiration could come from any dream, where architecture connected art and technique, creativity blended with precision, and it was always focused on the future. I imagined a land where everything was possible, a land where whatever its people imagined could become true thanks to talent and endeavor. This land is mine. It is Catalonia. It is creativity, innovation, research, commitment, education, and hard work. A land open to the world and to the challenges facing the future. Mixing entrepreneurial spirit and strategic vision with an open mindset and an ability to adapt to change. A land based on a strong industrial past and present, with a dynamic and innovative business community whose sights are set internationally, with a huge diversity of sectors, a powerful network of businesses, and a startup ecosystem with great growth potential. Attractive for international trade and with top quality infrastructures that connect to the whole world. A land that embraces the industry of the future, and a perfect place to make both small and big ideas come alive. With a top-class educational system that favors knowledge exchange between people from different backgrounds and skills, and a highly skilled labor force, as well as research, development, talent, creativity, innovation, and work capacity. And with a capital to beat all capital cities, Barcelona, a benchmark for the avant-garde, for dynamism, and modernity. This is my land, Catalonia, where both the land and the people, day after day, never cease to imagine a better future.
As you have seen, Catalonia is a land where everything is possible. And if we want to make things possible, we need innovation. Actually, innovation has been the driving force behind the progress of Catalonia. We all know that innovation is a necessity. While this has always been the case, innovation is now more necessary than ever. Innovation is moving at an unprecedented pace. Reality is constantly changing. We are now facing big challenges. We are facing a big revolution, industrial revolution, with a lot of emerging new technologies that puts in, let's say, in a new frame all the things that we have done. So it's a different situation. In previous revolutions, we had only one variable changing. Now everything is changing. So there's a lot of opportunities and there's a lot of ways to innovate. Additionally, a disruptive and unforeseen challenge has emerged, named COVID-29. And that is why we need to innovate. We have to innovate and we have to do it quickly in an efficient way and disruptively. In Catalonia, we are very clear on this. It underpins our approach to innovation, and we firmly believe we can offer value to leading companies in this area. So you may ask, which are the assets that makes Catalonia a leading technology hub? First, let me give you a brief introduction to Catalonia's rich innovation ecosystem. We have first-class scientific infrastructure with some of Europe's most advanced scientific facilities. Examples that include the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, the Alba Synchrotron, the largest particle accelerator in Southern Europe, also the Barcelona Biomedical Research Park, or industrial facilities like IDIADA focused on the mobility sector. We have also suppliers of advanced technology, such as Eurocat, Catalonia's leading technology center, Leitat, and other Technio agents. We also have excellent universities. Catalonia boasts 12 universities, including 3 best universities in Spain. And moreover, we have 2 business schools ranked in the top 10 in Europe, according to the Financial Times. The combination also of local and international talent. Catalonia offers a highly qualified workforce at competitive cost, while Barcelona is the 5th most attractive city in the world for digital experts. And on top of that, we have leading international events in the fields of technology, including the Mobile World Congress, the IoT Solutions World Congress, the Smart City Expo, and starting next year, we will have also the Integrated Systems Europe. All of these factors have consolidated Catalonia's status as the leading hub for innovation and technology in Southern Europe. Catalonia is Europe's leading region in terms of number of SMEs awarded grants for innovation. Catalonia is only just 1.5% of the European population, but yet accounts for more than 4% of the companies awarded by the SME instrument. We have about 250 SMEs awarded in these awards, far ahead from other regions. I can say maybe the third one, it's 100 companies just below us. Catalonia is the recipient of 2.86% of all grants awarded under the Horizon 2020 program. And 41 of the world's top 50 most innovative companies have presence in Catalonia, according to the Boston Consulting Group. So these are very interesting figures. And on top of that, we have a big number of foreign tech companies that have presence in Catalonia. And these companies have increased and have grown by 21% last year. So many of these companies have found Catalonia to be the ideal place for innovation, especially collaborative innovation. Please, allow me to describe our assets in a little more detail. First, Catalonia has a diversified, consolidated business community that boasts a long-standing industrial tradition, and it's embracing Industry 4.0. Industry has a strong presence, accounting for approximately 20% of the GBA, 50% if we include services to manufacturing industry. It's very diversified. The largest industrial sector represents only 17% of the industrial GBA, with a high level of innovation. Half of Catalan companies innovate, while a quarter have acquired or are pursuing R&D activities. And Catalonia's high-tech exports have broken historical records for the last 4 years in a row, which we rocketed last year with 18% of increasing the exports. This industrial sector is leading the way to Industry 4.0. Precisely, our second major asset is the network of companies and agents that promote digital and 4.0 technologies. The ICT industry is made up of more than 16,000 companies and has experienced high levels of growth in recent years. We also count with remarkable players in fields such as life science, 3D printing, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, smart cities, or 5G. We have excellent foundations, which we want to build up by thinking big. Catalonia has the potential to become the European capital of 5G, with the construction of the Mediterranean 5G corridor approved by the European Commission. This cross-border project will have a major impact on the capacity to offer solutions to the industry. Our third major asset is our entrepreneurial ecosystem, which is a driver of innovation. Catalonia is ranked the #1 startup hub in Southern Europe and #5 in the Europe as a whole, behind only London, Paris, Berlin, and Amsterdam. Catalonia's ecosystem comprises more than 1,500 startups, with, let's say, an increase of 40% compared to 3 years ago. It's an ecosystem with an increased capacity to attract talent, employing nearly 17,000 people, a lot of them coming from abroad, more or less 20%. High growth potential. Barcelona is the third most preferred city for creating startups, behind only London and Berlin, and a key player in technological transformation. 64% of jobs are linked to Industry 4.0. To sum up, the differentiating factors of Catalonia are the large concentration of startups within a small regional space, along with assets such as our industrial tradition, technological ecosystem, and first-class scientific infrastructure, research centers, and universities. The presence of more than 8,900 foreign companies talks about the added value that Catalonia offers to investors. Today, we are joined by 2 companies, all leaders in their fields, who can tell us about their experience. ABB Robotics is a world leader in electrical engineering and automation, and specializes in power supply networks, electrification products, industrial automation, and robotics. In Catalonia, the firm has opened a Customer Innovation Center, Europe's first center of innovation for collaborative robotics. We have also Roche Diagnostics, which is a leading player in the healthcare industry, particularly in the areas of pharmaceuticals and diagnostics. The company has launched innovative projects such as the Center of Excellence for Genome Sequencing. These firms are a great sample of the major foreign companies that have established a presence in Catalonia. Of course, there are other examples of companies that have chosen Catalonia as a place for innovation, particularly open innovation and corporate venturing. For instance, Nestlé has launched one of its Ingenium entrepreneurship programs in Catalonia, while Barcelona is home to the company's digital innovation hub. The car maker SEAT has its open innovation lab in Barcelona, where it explores new business models that are later exported all over the world. HP, Suez, Unilever, Novartis, or Bayer are just a few of the other companies that have chosen Catalonia as a place to develop their most disruptive innovation strategies alongside with startups. The government is aware of the importance of these factors and of the value that foreign companies add to our competitiveness. That is why, for the last 25 years, we have helped foreign companies set up and grow their presence in Catalonia. We do this through Catalonia Trade and Investment. We offer personalized service that is tailor-made to suit the needs of each company. The following is a proof of the success of our approach. Barcelona and Catalonia boast the second most successful strategy for attracting technological investment, according to the Financial Times and the Next Web, behind only London and ahead of cities such as Berlin or Amsterdam. For the third time in a row, Catalonia has been crowned the best region in Southern Europe for foreign investment, according to the Financial Times FDI Magazine Awards. And last, Catalonia Trade and Investment has been named 2020's Best Investment Promotion Agency in Europe by the Capital Finance International. We will continue to work hard to build the economy of the next decade and to maintain Catalonia's position as a leader of innovation and research. We want to be your partner for developing innovation projects. As you have seen, we offer an ideal industrial and technological ecosystem whose quality is vouched for by the foreign companies that already have a presence in Catalonia. Catalonia Trade and Investment wants to be your partner and assist you with your potential investments in Catalonia. To this end, our office in Brussels, headed by Ms. Ana Coelho, is at your service, as is our Barcelona team. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. I must say that was a great presentation, a great introduction to our session. I particularly enjoyed the video linking the beautiful history and historic nature of the region to the high-tech future that we all want to see built. And I also hope that you are right in terms of the pandemic situation that we find ourselves in, because it's often said that crisis is the mother of invention. So perhaps there will be some good to be taken away from this rather unusual situation that we find ourselves in. And looking to the future and developing, and innovation is big part of that. With that, let me turn over to our two representatives of the companies, as you mentioned in the opening speech. I'm going to hand over now to Mark Gomez from ABB.
Thank you, Jennifer. So first of all, thank you very much for everyone to inviting us to that fantastic event. So let me introduce very briefly the company that I have the honor to lead in Spain. So ABB is an industrial technology company. We have more than 130 years of history, and we are present in Spain since more than 110. So our links with Catalonia are very deep because that's the first location that we have in Spain. So it was Catalonia where we were born in Spain in ABB. And we work in ABB in Spain more than 1,500 people, and 1/3 of them, almost 500, are located in Catalonia. So for us, it's a very important location, one of the pillars of our strategy. So we as ABB, we are leaders we are number one, number two in all the markets that we operate. And our mission is very simple. So we push the boundaries of technology to drive performance to new levels and to energize and transform the society and the industry to achieve more productive and more sustainable future. In these lines, for example, 65% of our sales are related to energy efficiency solutions. So, and we do that with products and solutions as popular nowadays as could be the robots. Moreover, we launched the first industrial robots in the 70s. Or we do it through our electrical charging solutions for electrical vehicles. What we are the leader of the world on the fast charging solutions, for example. Or we do it through our domotic or what we call home automation solutions that you can find through our brand Nissan in all your facilities, your homes. So as you can see, digitalization and sustainability are the roots of our offer, the roots of our DNA. Okay, so our commitment with Catalonia not just coming from the beginning when we start to establish the company in Spain, but also with the continuous improvement that investments that we are doing through the years. Our presence in Catalonia has been increased recently, very strongly in the last 10 years with a lot of investment. And probably the most relevant investments, it was the opening of the robotic cells factory 6 years ago with a full capacity. Or for example, our customer innovation center that we inaugurated last year, both in the same location where we used to have electrical motors factory that we unfortunately need to close down due to the last economical crisis. The Customer Innovation Center, the SIC, what we call SIC, is one of the pillars of our strategy, in digital strategy, both global and local. It's a space that we have created with two main objectives. So the first one could be the most obvious, is a showroom where we offer or we show to the customers all our digital solutions. What others call the future, we call the present, and we try to take out all the fears by showing that it's not the future we are talking about, it's the actual situations nowadays, solutions that we can offer to the customers. The second objective, and probably the most important, it's a space to co-create with our customers and with our partners the digital solutions of the future. So this is an open business space of more than 1,500 square meters, open to customers, open to the partners, to the universities and all kind of institutions, where they find the best place, the best space to create and push that technological boundaries that I was referring before. This is also the home, that Customer Innovation Center, for two very important global initiatives. It is the Center of Expertise for the 3D Vision of ABB, one startup that we bought some years ago, and we make the home of that startup inside ABB in that Customer Innovation Center. And it's also the home for the Global Digital Accelerator for the business of like is robotics, for example. So two very important innovation initiatives around the innovation that are located in that Customer Innovation Center, and what we are putting to all our customers worldwide, but also the ones in the territory. So I mean, open to them. So we shut down a traditional factory some years ago, and now we have a new robotics factory and a new innovation center that employs more people, more skilled people than in the past, and offering more added value than in the past, which has not recovered the level of employment that we have in the past when we shut down the factory, but we create more employment there. That's a very good example of how digitalization, how innovation not only creates value, but also creates employment. The selection of Catalonia and Barcelona specifically for those initiatives, despite of very competitive locations all around the world, was very clear from the beginning. And Joan was mentioning before some of the reasons why. I mean, of course, Catalonia offers a very good infrastructure, and the industry in the country that we have already, it's a very important pillar to build up any initiative. But also, together with that, it's very important the ecosystem that we have with the startups that we have in the country, with the universities, and something that is very important, the access to the talent that we can find in Barcelona, and also Barcelona as a key to really retain that talent in our company. So all in all, a history of more than 110 years in Catalonia, but hopefully 100 years more to come. So thank you.
We'll be drawing on some of those points that you made, particularly regarding talent and skills. We'll discuss that a little bit more depth in our discussion. So now we have our final speaker, who is Josep Bassa, who is the director of Site Roche at Sant Cugat. Josep, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, finally, Mr. Jaime Vives, who is our general manager, has already arrived. He had an unfortunate problem, and he will be the one who will finally do this 5 minutes presentation.
Thank you so much. No problem. We appreciate you being so flexible and stepping in at the last moment. I'm glad to see you were able to make it, as I know you've been preparing for this event. So give us your opening thoughts, please.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody, and thanks for the invitation to this very special event. I've been asked to to present a bit Roche Diagnostics in Spain and what we are doing and why we have chosen Barcelona-Catalonia as one of our main sites for for the group. Actually, Roche Diagnostics, it's a division of Roche, Hoffmann La Roche. It's a Swiss company, and our purpose is to develop and provide solutions, services, and products to the clinical laboratory. So we are in the healthcare business, and established here in Catalonia since 1933. So it's really it's a long history also in this company with Catalonia. Roche, it's a global pioneer in biotech. Actually, it's the largest biotech company in the world, and we have two divisions, as said, pharmaceuticals and diagnostics. And combining both, we have established a leadership in what we call personalized healthcare. Personalized healthcare is about bringing the most suitable therapy for a given patient, avoiding this idea of a one-size-fits-all, that it's a medicine, it's useful for every single patient, but rather in improving the diagnostics, understanding much better, in much more depth, the molecular basis of the disease, and then adequating the best therapy to this disease. We combine here therapeutics and diagnostics, and that's why we established this site here in Catalonia, not just to sell and to be the commercial branch of Roche Diagnostics in Spain, but also to develop additional and valuable products that are helping in this context of personalized healthcare. So what are we doing here actually is, apart from providing reagents and instruments to the labs, what we do is we capture this data, the results that are coming out of a lab, and then using algorithms, using artificial intelligence, we are trying to develop an approach that serves the physician to make much better treatment options than just reading a few results. So we combine, and thanks to the ability of understanding the very precisely the molecular basis of the diseases, we can really offer to the physician the best suitable way to do the treatment. So in practical terms, that means that what we are developing here is digital products. Digital because healthcare is becoming digital more and more. We have seen during this pandemic that the ability of being connected, the patient and the healthcare professional, in a virtual way has shown that it's a must, it's an imperative. That was a trend, but nowadays we see that it's developing more and more. And then today, the telemedicine, or the ability to connect patients with physicians, it's a must, but not just this connectivity. It's also giving content to this connectivity. And then that is what we are doing. Part of the product we are developing, focus on establishing channel of communication between the patients, specifically the chronic patients, mostly diabetes and other chronic diseases, with the healthcare professional, without being or having to go to a physical place for interacting. That's one part of the business. The other is to develop what I already said before. It's software that connects everything into the lab and brings the information and the combined knowledge of information and experience of the physician that provides an actionable information that is used by the physician in the therapy options. So when the company decided to understood that digital is a real important part of our business going forward, we start kind of competing with other places in the world to get this unit being settled here in Barcelona, in Catalonia. You can imagine that this competition was not so easy because we are not the cheapest country in the world for that, and software is about people, is about a lot of people developing and programming. But what was evident for our company was that we have the talent here, we have an ecosystem that allows us and provides a lot of advantages, because what we are doing is trying to bring digital advantages to healthcare. For that, it's not just about digital, it's also about biomedicine, it's also about healthcare. And we have here in Catalonia one of the most professional ecosystems in both sides. In biomedicine, we have leading hospitals in Barcelona, we have leading research institutions in Barcelona, and on the digital part, we also have leading institutions like Barcelona Supercomputing Center and a lot of universities and colleges that provide talent and provide very well trained and educated people for that purpose. So that is why we are here. And on top of it, we have to say that also it's easier in Barcelona to attract talent because it's a very nice place to live and people really love to be here. You know, we have in Catalonia, we have the beaches, we have the mountains, we can ski, we can go biking, we can do a lot of things, food, climate, everything. It's so attractive that it's not that difficult to get to attract talent. For instance, we here in Roche Diagnostics, we have more than 20 different nationalities. So people that is happy to come and to make their professional development here in Barcelona. So I think that's an introduction that should be enough from my side. So thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Jaime. You're making us jealous from a rather grey Brussels today. I wish I was by the sea and the mountains as well. But let's move on to the real question here. And I think we heard it mentioned in the first speech, which is that for the third year in a row, the FT has rated Catalonia as the #1 place to invest in Southern Europe. Why do you think that is? Joan, I'll let you start first, please.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think that when we talk about being the best region, we talk about a cocktail. We are preparing a cocktail, and to have the best cocktail, we need the best ingredients. So I think that some of these ingredients can be in other places in Europe, but the whole combination of these ingredients is in Catalonia. So some of them we have been discussing before. We have a very, let's say, business country. So mindset focused on business. Second, very open. We have a lot of investments coming from abroad, but we have also, let's say, a local business network of companies that works with a lot of different countries. So very open. We have also an open and innovative economy. Boosted by this startup ecosystem that it's very important for us. Also, the tech and scientific hub. And on top of that, this talent, the creation of talent, the talent attraction, and also the talent retention. I think that this combination of creation, attraction, and retention is very important. So, a couple of years ago, one company closed their factory in one place of Europe. I won't mention it. And they offer to the employees to choose in which of the different places, sites that they had in Europe, they will go to work. 95% choose Barcelona. So if you want to attract people, it's easier for you to do it in Catalonia than in other places. If you have a combination of talent people coming from abroad, technological centers, very diversified industry, and then you have, let's say, a geostrategic location that is also very important, and a good quality of life, I think it's the perfect mixture.
Thank you. Mark, I mentioned that figure that 3 years in a row it's topping Southern Europe according to the FT. Do these sorts of things matter when you see Catalonia at the top of lists or winning awards for being the most innovative?
Definitely it is. I mean, it's our nature also, that kind of innovative approach to things. So, I mean, we are reinventing ourselves continuously, and even from the very ancient ages. I mean, we were very good on exporting and commercializing our products. So, I mean, I think it's part of our DNA to be innovative and to be pioneers, and that's really what you see in that kind of rankings. On top of what I think that what the colleagues that were mentioning about the retaining talent, I mean, that's to retain talent, that's not an easy recipe, and this is something that you cannot fake or can you invent in one PowerPoint or just with a let me say a strategic plan that it's put in place several years ago. You need a tradition, and that's also what we have here. That ecosystem that we were referring before, the different colleagues, I think this is in place since a long time ago. And one important thing that why the people wants to remain in Barcelona, not just coming because the nightlife or whatever, it's the best place in the world. I'm from Barcelona, but I mean, despite of jokes aside, I mean, I think that the most important for the talent or for the people is that they can have a career here, because they have the resources and they have the companies that are investing on that. So it's not just that you can just go there. You can develop and grow yourself in the career. That's what the people looks like once it's proceeding when they want to grow. I mean, that's why they go into California or they go to that kind of places where you can really grow in your career. I think this is one of the big differentiators of why the people wants to come to Barcelona and wants to stay in Barcelona and retain that talent. That's very important.
Jamie, you mentioned talent in your address there. I want to ask a little bit. I mean, I'm convinced that it's very easy to attract talent to Catalonia, but what about the homegrown talent? Is that playing a big part? We heard about the top business schools and top universities.
You're right. We have great universities here, not just school or business school. The institutions like ESA that rank amongst the best in the world. Actually, ESA I think is ranked #1 for some years in a row. But also technological institutions, universities for engineering, for software sciences, and also medicine. So, for instance, we have institutions, research institutions in medicine, that also their impact rates are close or equal to what you can have in Harvard or in London on one of these top places in the world in terms of medicine. So the talent is good. We have, I wouldn't say enough talent. That's why we have to also attract people from other parts of the world, mostly Europeans, but not only. Also, we have people working in our company that are coming even from Eastern Asia and also Latin America and North America. So it's but that is to complement. We have good local talent. We have good universities, and especially in those two segments where we are most interested in, that is technology and medicine.
Thank you. I want to move on now to the current pandemic we find ourselves in. We can't ignore it. So I want to know, how well is Catalonia adapting to the COVID-19 crisis? You know, I mean, things like connectivity are obviously hugely important. Mark, maybe I could get you to take that one first.
Oh, well, quite difficult to really add something that we don't know. But I think that, first of all, I think that pandemic, despite, of course, it's a tragedy from the health point of view, but also has been one of the consequences. It's been the biggest proof of concept on digitalization, because from one day to the other, we are just home working. We are just, doing things that we were not even thinking in the past, or some weeks ago before the pandemic appears that will happen. And I think that if I have to select one adjective that the companies in Catalonia are doing very well, I think it's happening all around the world, but I mean, what I'm seeing in my surroundings is that the speed of how we are adapting, and the speed how we are adapting to the changes. and the resilience that companies have. It's also a good combination that we have in Catalonia between small and big companies, large corporations, and all of the companies. I think they're adapting quite well and very fast to the situations. So the resilience that we have, it's very, very, very important. I think also because probably it's part of our nature. I was explaining. So it's about changing continuously with the different moments of the history we have gone through.
Jamie, how are you experiencing it in the context in Catalonia?
I can only add what Mark said already, that it's been amazing the speed how our people has been able to adapt to the new normality. So working from home was something that was in the mind, was something for the future, but all of a sudden in 2 weeks we were able to send everybody at home, and we are working from home since March more or less. In our site we are working more than 1,000 people here. I would say 80% is we're working from home. No issues at all. So that is ability to react, to adapt. I think that it's most amazing, and I think that has been fundamental for the economical network to keep the momentum and to keep the pace. So and just to emphasize what Mark said, so the ability to adapt and to react, I think is one of the big learnings that we can have from this pandemic here.
And Joan, do you see that as well? Do you think that Catalonia will adapt and be flexible and perhaps even come out of this pandemic stronger?
Yes, sure. We have to react quickly. And I think that here the word is latency. So we have to go to zero latency to react as quick as possible to the situation. And we launched some months ago a survey to our base of companies here in Catalonia about the effects of the pandemic in their business models. And 50%, so half of the companies, said that they will make strategic changes resulting of the COVID-19. So they will change their strategy. 30% said that they will create new products or services. So a whole new portfolio of products will appear. And some of them decide to change their business models and create new products based on the situation. And now, for instance, we have a portfolio, a catalog of Catalan solutions focusing on COVID-19. So big changes. And also we have our clusters. Catalonia has 30 clusters. They are very important for us. They are, let's say, a motor in the different sectors. And they collaborate to increase the number of solutions focusing on COVID. So I think that the industrial base react very quickly and with good effort and good results.
Thank you. Now, I want to bring in our audience. I see many of you are tweeting along. EBS 2020 Catalonia is the hashtag. And so I want you to keep sending those messages, send in your questions. If you do want to get questions to our panelists, that's the best way to do it. I'm watching here on my little screen. But before we do that, let me ask another question that I think is quite pertinent. I have here figures that the balance to grants, there's been 355 research grants to researchers located in Catalonia, coming from all around the world, and 70 to 80% of projects evaluated were declared to be groundbreaking. Now, I'm wondering, is that sort of grants or is the government support, on an official level that is driving the innovation of these companies in the Catalonia region? Mark, can you give me your take on that? I mean, is there anything specific that government is doing or specific support that you're getting?
Well, I mean, I think that all the companies want more for the government always. I mean, that's quite normal. But I think that the good thing is that it's really not just about the incentives. That's something that the companies we can have. It's just having the frame to the thing. So putting in place all the environment that allows us to really develop that thing, and putting the frame and understanding very well what are the needs of the companies that we have. And in that sense, I think it's having as much professionals that we are having in the government who understands perfectly what's the needs from the country. It's very important. And then what I really appreciate from the government, it's really putting that frame, putting that the pillars that allows us, the companies, then play with that and then make the investment or the innovation happening. That's what I really see from the government, which is a very helpful thing. So understanding the needs and then creating the frame to allow the companies to really perform on that frame. And that's what they are doing quite well.
The same question, Jamie, to you. Do you see this governmental support as being instrumental? And in terms of things like maybe digitizing industry in Catalonia?
It's a real support of what we get from the government, not just the central government, not just the autonomic government in Catalonia, but also at the local city level. So we see, for instance, when we installed our premises here in Sant Cugat, that is a town 15, 18 kilometers away from Barcelona, everything was easy. So the local government, the local town hall, they really want to help because they understand the value that this kind of activities are providing to the population. So in this regard, there's a sentence that, and a statement from one politician made some years ago that become quite famous was, Catalonia is a business-friendly place. But that is something that is not just for Catalonia, but also for the local administration. What I think that's most amazing, because in other places we have seen that the local authorities are not always to support because they have other things to consider. But what we have seen in Sant Cugat and also in the town surrounding, that the government is really understanding the value that the companies are providing to the society, to the population, and supporting them with activities, with these kind of events, with networks, with everything that is required to make this region a cluster of knowledge, innovation, and forward thinking.
Joan, maybe you could tell us then a little bit more about that. We've heard from the two businesses themselves.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think that we have different approaches. One approach is to dynamize the ecosystem, which is very important. We have to consolidate the offer, the technology offer, and also to pull the demand on innovation. And I think that one of the best things that we do from the government side is to connect the offer and the demand, and to create a good environment to put them together. The different governments have plans on innovation. Catalonia is not a different case. We also have our innovation plan. But one thing that we made different is that we had also agreement on innovation. This agreement is an agreement between the government, the trade unions, and the business associations. So each one of the players that we have in the ecosystem agree on the things that we have to do. So we have a same line, a same goal, and it's a good way to approach to the situation.
Thank you very much. Now let me see if we can hear from one of our audience members. I think we should have Walter Weigel, who is from Huawei. Walter, can you hear us?
Yeah. Jennifer, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you so much. There you are. I can see you on my screen as well. That's great. I know you wanted to make an intervention. Obviously, Huawei is hugely internationally known. Why has Catalonia caught your interest?
Yeah, Jennifer, thank you. And thank you to all for making this excellent points about Barcelona and the Catalonia region and giving the success stories. This is water on my mills. So I'm the vice president of the European Research Institute of Huawei. Joan knows very well. We are since long time in contact. And I'm always looking for new sites. Actually, we are not yet present in Barcelona, but you helped me with your arguments to the success stories about infrastructure, the cooperation partners who are there, the economic environment, very much. And as I am doing research, mainly for, despite all the political turmoil, we don't want to discuss, we are experiencing from one country in the world. We became in spring the #1 about smartphones. So we sold the first half year 2020 more than 100 million of these devices. And you may know that since many years we are the #1 in telecommunication infrastructure. But what is not so much known, and then I will come back to Catalonia, is that we are also very much growing in computing and in cloud hardware and software. And we also have high performance computers. Now, saying this, you may be aware that there is no company in Europe anymore producing these things. The former Siemens phones, I worked a long time for this company, Alcatel phone, Ericsson phone, Nokia phones, they're all gone. The same situation we have, and it was said that digitalization in your business like ABB and Roche is great, playing a huge role, like what we saying as a ICT is a kind of enabling technology. And you may be also aware that we don't have computing hardware anymore in Europe. So there used to be Nixdorf computers, Olivetti computers, Böll computers, Siemens computers, and we have, I'm speaking now as a European passport holder, we have lost a lot. Now, saying this in ICT research, I am always looking for new sites where we do bottom up. For me, it does not make sense, for instance, now to decide I want to open a lab in Barcelona, because as a manager, I don't have the topics, I don't have the research content. So I am, so to say, pushing my colleagues. We do this bottom up in Huawei. It's a different management culture. But what helps me very much, and this was mentioned, this is the universities with the talents, because if we then want to open a lab, we need good employees, good researchers. That's one thing, but I wanted to comment especially about that I see in Barcelona and in Catalonia excellent research going on. So for instance, I talked about high performance computers. So the Barcelona Supercomputing Center with Matteo Valero is one of the best known worldwide in Europe, one of the leading ones. They will get from the Euro HPC initiative, one of the big machines, which is of very high value from our point of view. We have at ICFO with Luis Torner and his team, world leading photonic researchers, not only in optical communication. You may know that what we call the backbone, so the base station outside, has to be connected to a switch that's nowadays all optical. This goes into quantum communication, quantum computing, very advanced. And I don't want to name now all the CTTC and for sure the University Politecnica di Catalunya with Josep Prat, for instance, also one of the top world experts in optical communication. But what I would like to add here is this kind of excellent basis of world-leading researchers is for us as a research institute, as a research organization, exactly what we are looking for, where we can cooperate. And actually, we have many cooperations with the mentioned institutes. And then on this basis, if the cooperations get high enough, then usually we open also a lab on site. This is what I wanted to explain a little bit from our point of view.
Thank you very much, Walter, and I hope you're finding this discussion useful and interesting for you. Thank you, gentlemen. I can see we're all back on the panel again. So I have a question that has just come in from Twitter. It's a good place to wrap up as well, I think. Is Catalonia the place for the Mediterranean dream, as California is the American dream? A rather nice way of putting it. Are we going to see Silicon Valley Catalonia? Jamie, your thoughts on that, please.
I don't know. That's a bit ambitious those days, but I think the quality of living here in Catalonia is even better than in California, and we are not threatened by the big one. So the earthquake that is being expected in California, we don't expect it here. But no, but being serious, I think that it's a similar environment in this regard, because the innovation spirit that we have as a society here, and that brings a lot of an ecosystem, an environment that helps entrepreneurs, that help startups to really find a nice ground to grow. So I wouldn't compare that with Silicon Valley, but I think it's a nice innovation hub in Europe.
Mark, I'm going to put the same question to you, and I'm going to give you throw a figure at you as well. According to the Boston Consulting Group, a report they did last year, 41 of the 50 most innovative companies in the world are already established in Barcelona. Does that give you pause for a thought about whether it's the new Silicon Valley?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think we are what we are, and we don't have to compare to anyone's. But definitely, one thing that I really, really like from this region is the inclusive values that we have. So, I mean, being a very diverse society, it's very helpful, because I think that one of the key ingredients for the success in case of innovation and for the high performance teams is exactly that. So being inclusive, being very diverse. And that's exactly what we are having here. What Jaume was describing, I'm not talking about my company, but Jaume's company, about a lot of nationalities that were in their teams. This is really giving something that it's quite unique. I mean, that diversity and that inclusive values that we have, it's one of the key things to put us in the map as one of the most innovative hubs that we could be in the world. And why not the next Silicon Valley for sure? Yeah.
Okay. Jean, I'm going to give the last word to you then as well. Barcelona is the 5th most attractive city in the world for digital experts, according to a report last year. I'm sure you're not surprised by that.
No, we are not surprised, because we have a very important ecosystem on the ICT field. I mentioned before 16,000 ICT companies in Catalonia. And we have been the host city of the Mobile World Congress for the last, I don't know, 18 years. So this puts Barcelona and Catalonia in a good position for ICT companies. So we are the reference on that. And it's very easy to attract people, talent on that area to come to Barcelona and to work in an environment very open, as Mark and Jaume mentioned. It's easier for this talent to integrate and to be motivated in this environment, which is very open, it's very innovative. So if you want to have your career here, you can work with a lot of talented people coming from very diverse countries. So you feel at home being in one interesting part of the world, and you feel that you can have a very good career here. So I think that this attracts a lot of, let's say, ICT companies that sometimes don't need that big industrial investment. And so they can start quickly to work in this environment and find themselves easily with other partners to grow and to develop projects together.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I think that's been a wonderful discussion. You've certainly convinced me. I hope certainly to be back in Barcelona again soon, as soon as we are all able to travel again. And this COVID-19 pandemic has hopefully, as we've suggested, encouraged digitalization, encouraged investment in innovation, and brought people together in a different way. We are able to reach out today through the European Business Summit, as we said, using these tele-networking tools. And we've had a great response online. So I think that has been something of success that you take away even in difficult times. With that, I will encourage people to keep tweeting, keep having this discussion, use that hashtag EBS 2020 Catalonia, and have a great afternoon and enjoy the rest of the sessions at the European Business Summit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.